In this video, I'm going to demonstrate Melody Player. It's a very powerful tool that allows you to learn music that's based on the MIDI, M-I-D-I file format. I'm going to assume that you have already downloaded and installed Melody Player before you get into the details of exploring the particular application. What I'm showing on the screen right now is my browser at Google, and I've typed in Melody Player as a search item, and the very first item that shows up on the Google search is the website. Let me click on that. I'm now at the Melody Player homepage, and if I choose to download, you've got 4 different options depending on what flavor of computer you have. If you have an older Mac, you can go there, newer Mac here, older Windows, newer Windows there. So, if you haven't already done so, download it, install it. When you're done, come on back. When you launch Melody Player, this is what you're going to see. On the left-hand side is a place where the list of songs or list of files, MIDI files, will be displayed. There are none there yet, but we'll get them there in a moment. And in the center section here, or to the right-hand side, we're going to see the score, the music, and Melody Player will walk us through. Notice that my mouse is drifting across these icons across the top here. Now you probably haven't noticed, but way down at the bottom, down here in the bottom left corner, the text which is displayed is text that gives a bit of a hint about what that icon does. So pay attention to the bottom, which right now says play, file, and stop. I'm going to come up to the top. And so if you look at the bottom, you see, oh, this question mark is infos. The lightning bolt is new list. This one is load a list. This one is save a list. This one is hardware setup. And if I come back down to the bottom, this first icon with the red plus, add a file, a single file. And this looks a little bit like a file folder. Well, it's add all the files in a folder, and so on. So in a moment, I'm going to be adding the files that are associated with the music for this semester, this session, spring of 2013. But in order to do that, I need to find out where are all of those MIDI files stored. So I'm going to pull over a Windows Explorer, and I will find the place where I put them on my hard drive. I put them here under Personal, Choirs, Stairwell, Practice Music, and here it is, 2013 Spring. I've organized it so that I have all of the MID files here together. And by the way, most of the extensions are MID, 3 characters. A couple of them have MIDI, for instance, Torsion. They're both essentially equivalent. Each of these files is quite small. For instance, this one, if I allow the mouse to drift over, shows me that, oh, it's only 2.8 kilobytes in size. That's tiny. Or La Tricotea, it's big. It's 4 kilobytes in size. So really, all of these are quite tiny. That's one of the impressive things about MIDI files. You'll also notice that I have renamed all of the files that Pete sent us because I prepended with A1, A2, A3, A4. It's much easier for me to correlate the file name with the sequence that Pete specified in the rehearsal schedule, or in the alpha list, I think Pete calls it. Much easier to look up. I've then also gone through and renamed all of the PDFs so that they have the same name format with the A1, A2, A3. Just makes it much simpler. I've packaged all of these things up in a couple of zip files and made them available on my website. So if you want to download these with this particular format of naming, you might find it more useful. Bottom line is, I need to know what directory all of these MID or MIDI files are stored in, because when I come back over here to Melody Player, I'm going to need to find that. What I want to do now is populate the empty left-hand column with all of the music for our session. So I'm going to add all of the files in the folder. That spawns this dialog. You can easily change the height. I like to have it nice and tall so that I can see lots of things. And I'll find where I put it. It was again under Personal, Squire's Stairwell, Practice Music, 2013 Spring. So that's the folder I'm looking for. When I click OK, you should see all of the items being populated over here on the list. And there they are. I've added one additional one. The reason I added this one, Fire, Fire, or Fear, Fear, it was actually from 2011. And the reason I added it is it's an interesting MIDI which has some unique characteristics. So we'll take a look at that in a moment. As you select any one of these items, then the score over here reflects what you're looking at. So there's A Robin, and O Jésus Christe, and so on. I'm going to pick one that is going to be really challenging. Well, it's going to be easy for the sopranos, because the sopranos don't even sing this one. La Tricotea is for the altos and tenors and basses, but it's fast. It's fast with a foreign language, and it's a tongue twister. So it's a useful one to start with because it provides a way of exploring what can we do with the melody player in order to make learning easy. A couple of things to notice. Notice on the score here it shows the tempo, 240. And this is the button here, or the selector here, which allows you to specify whether you want it to be slower or faster. Well, let me start it off at 240, and we'll have a quick listen to see what it sounds like. There's the play button. Here we go. Now, if some of you were thinking, hey, that's not so bad, well, Pete's going to take it faster. No, I don't think he's going to take it quite at 300, but let's hear what it sounds like. And we're not at the fast part yet. Notice I paused it. Here it comes. Yeah, it's kind of scary, really. So that's not how you're going to want to start learning it. So I'm going to shift the tempo so it's nice and slow. I'm going to jump to the faster section, a little over here. So, that's very useful to be able to adjust the tempo as you get better and better. But there's something even more important for me. When I'm learning a piece, initially I may not know my part very well, so I want to emphasize my part. One of the little problems with these MIDIs, you'll notice that this shows up as piano 1, piano 2, piano 1 again. Well, which one is the bass line? This is where you may have to go back to the PDF and take a look and ensure that you know which one it is. Commonly this will be sequenced alto, tenor, bass, but not always. Occasionally the sequence in the MIDI is going to be a bit off, but you'll need to figure that out. Notice this button up here. The sliders are selectors that allow you to emphasize or de-emphasize particular lines. Let me click it. So this is the mixer, and I could completely turn off piano 1, piano 2, which is alto, tenor, and I'll slide it out of the way so I can still see. And as I begin to play, the only thing I'm going to hear is bass. We'll speed it up. Okay, that's pretty good to start, although I think it would be better to, now that's interesting, shift it. I'm going to set it so that I can in fact hear a diminished quality of the alto tenor, but full bass. So I'm going to hear a bit of a ghostly image. Oh, and by the way, these are the balance, left-right balance. I might as well make them both centered. it's the black bar that represents the volume. So predominantly bass and a little bit of alto tenor. Let's go for it. And I can change it. Now a little bit later on, when I'm getting stronger and stronger at singing it, I'll start to put the other parts, that is the alto tenor, full strength, and I'm going to diminish the bass. So now when I play it, I can still hear a hint of the bass in the background, but I'm going to be singing not very good. Clearly I need to practice it some more. But let me change the mixing again, and this time completely eliminate the bass. So now I would be singing solo against the alto tenor. La trigote and then the fast part comes, so I'll stop now. So, powerful tool where you can adjust how you're going to be interacting with it, and as you get better and better, you can shift the play of it. Let's take a look at a couple of others. Here's Cantate Domino, and the mixing is back to normal. In this case there are 4 parts because it is soprano, alto, tenor, bass, and clearly Pete takes it faster than that, so let's speed it up. Perhaps not quite that fast, but you can play it however you feel you need to learn it. One last thing I'll show you, and this is why I introduced this first item here, Fire Fire or Fear Fear, and here again you need to kind of figure out who are you. String, 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 string. Well, you'd need to look at the original PDF in order to see which part is mapped onto you. If I play this, you hear more or less the same kind of quality you heard with the previous ones. Oops, I didn't want to do that actually, because I've already put it into that mode. I'm going to go back again. So, if I play it, alright, so MIDI player, because it's strings, they have a different kind of quality to it, although you can actually remap the voicing that you want for those strings. You don't have to stick with strings, but we'll leave it at that for now. But what's interesting is there is this little birdie here, and I turned off the birdie moments ago because it defaulted to being turned on. The little birdie wasn't there for any of the other songs that I showed. Why is it there? Oh, it's because the words are actually embedded in the MIDI. Yep, it's right in there. And because the words are in there, this software is offering to generate a synthesized voice to actually sing the words. So let me turn it on. Here comes the birdie. Alright. When I click to play, it's going to take it 5 or 10 seconds because the voice synthesizer is going through an algorithm where it's analyzing the pattern of speech. Oh, notice that scooping? Pete, you better not be listening to this because, you know, they're not starting on that pure note, but we'll continue along. Cute. Not sure how useful it is. Oh, one other thing that may be of interest to some of you who are piano players, you'll notice over here if I click on that, oh, it shows me a keyboard and, well, how would you play this? Except I have to take it out of the Tweety Bird mode, and I think now it will play. So, that's it. Great little tool. I use it to learn the music. And oh, one other thing I probably should show, and let me come back to a different piece, one that we're actually working with, Arabin. So you'll notice here with Arabin, the very first line is solo for one of the men's voices, and then the second line, two voices come in. The third line is where it actually begins to have all three voices together. So I may want to actually jump and notice the cursor is showing me where I would be about to start. I want to start here. Right. Or if I want to move a little further along, and then to the last little section, and release, and it would start playing from there. I'm going to turn off the piano. One of the advantages of turning off the piano, it means the score is a little bit bigger. Let me take a piece that's particularly lengthy, and I think, no, not that one. Oh, now the mass is actually broken into the four different parts of it. Jesus Christ, that's only one. I'm looking for the longer one. There was one out here. No. No. When it spans multiple pages, and I'm not sure that we have one that's that long. Cantate don't mean no should. No, it isn't. One of them is long in here. This one. Matona mia cara. So you'll notice it actually spans multiple pages. Let me slide it ahead, and you notice when I'm on page 2, notice what happened? Page 1 flipped to page 3. So just as my cursor comes across here, and I'm about to slide over to page 2, what's on the left is now page 3, and eventually when I get over to here, and I'll start playing from here, it flips to the other side, and there we are. So having two pages open simultaneously lets you see where you're going to even though you haven't yet seen the music. You can turn on and off the dual page mode, so that's single page, dual page. The problem with the single page is that as you get to the end of the page, it just flips to page 2, but you don't get to see the next page. In contrast, if I set it this way, as you get to the end of the page, so again, I'm moving from page 1 to page 2, and then instantly I'm on page 2, but on the left-hand side, page 3 shows up.